Many of you will remember this sound. So this is something that we laugh about now, but in the 2000s, this was how a lot of Americans accessed the internet. And that really wasn't that long ago. I have the opportunity today to talk to you about how we think about innovation. This is also a really tough task. Our entire company has been built on the concept of innovation. It's in our DNA. Back in 2008, with the release of the first iPhone, we were quick on its heels with Voxy Pro, a voice recording and transcription application. Nowadays, most of these features are built into your operating systems, but back then they weren't. In 2011, the idea of a connected lifestyle had really started to pick up, but it wasn't there yet. It was still a challenge. We had to challenge brands, we had to convince them to invest in the platform. We were really fortunate to work with the History Channel to bring their vision of the Civil War to life with Civil War Today, the highest grossing entertainment app of the year. By 2015, the smartphone was everywhere. As you see today, everyone has one. And we were asking our clients, what more can we do? How can we surprise and delight users? Yes, we can do check-in, but what more can we do? And that really led us out of the path of software and into the path of hardware. And then this year we worked with SPG to do keyless. And this was able to unlock doors everywhere with over 750,000 active users. And finally it brings us today, where we're helping the world's largest immigration law firm, Klayman, develop solutions that make the process of immigrating a little bit easier. A lot of you will look at this and say, this looks like a native application. It is not. It's actually just a fancy website, otherwise known as a progressive web application. When we think about our first 10 years, you see a lot of mobile there. And I wouldn't blame you for saying BottleRocket is a mobile application development company. Yes, we are. But we're absolutely so much more. So I ask you this question, when and why do customers interact with your brand? I know every single one of you are going to have 3 or 4 things that they pull out of their pocket, they immediately go to. But how did you get that answer? When was the last time you evaluated this? How did you evaluate this? Modern day companies have so many touch points, it becomes really, really hard to understand how a user experiences your brand. What are all those touch points? Let me show you what I mean by this. This is an example of some of the work we did with a leading healthcare provider. We sent a team in to evaluate before, during, and after a patient's experience with this healthcare provider. What are those moments of truth? You'll see those red dots up there. These are moments where you can convert a user, where you can get them to be a loyal user, someone who talks about their experience, who's happy to re-engage with your brand. And as you see, these are not just all mobile. There are a variety of touch points. So what we did here was trying to think about the service. A lot of us here are talking about innovation in terms of technology, in terms of hardware technology. What about process optimization? What about that type of innovation? There's huge opportunities for efficiencies here. So what we did was we employed the usual suspects, service design thinking, ethnographic research, deep and rich consumer insights, to come up with something like an idealized patient flow. What you'll really see here is that the moment of truth comes earlier. Why are we doing this? Because we all fail. Now sometimes it just happens, but if we fail early, we have the chance to recover. We have the chance to convert that user and have them have a more positive outcome. Ultimately here, these positive outcomes generate more revenue. They reduce costs, and they improve your consumer engagement. So when we think about the first decade at BottleRocket, we think about mobile application development. When we think about the second decade of BottleRocket and our vision for innovation, we think about the connected customer experience and the innovations that have yet to be delivered there. Thanks.